They laughed at you first. Not because you were weak. Not because you couldn't do it. But because people laugh at things they don't understand. They laughed at your dreams. They laughed at your ambition. They laughed at the version of you that dared to believe life could be bigger than what everyone around you accepted. And maybe, at first, it hurt. Maybe you smiled with them while your chest was burning inside. Maybe you pretended their words didn't matter. But later that night, when nobody was watching, you replayed every joke, every insult, every doubt. You heard their voices in your head. You're not good enough. Who do you think you are? You'll quit like always. Be realistic. And for a moment, you almost believed them. Because criticism from strangers is easy to ignore. But criticism from people you love? That hits differently. The people you expected support from became the people who questioned you most. Friends doubted you. Family misunderstood you. People who never chased anything meaningful suddenly became experts on why your dream wouldn't work. Funny how that happens. The people who never risked anything always have the strongest opinions about your risk. But something changed inside you. One day, you got tired. Not tired of the work. Tired of explaining yourself. Tired of defending your vision. Tired of begging people to understand a future they were never meant to see. And that's when you made the decision. The decision that changed everything. You disappeared. Not because you were defeated. Because you were done talking. Done announcing. Done proving. You stopped posting every plan. Stopped seeking validation. Stopped explaining your goals to people committed to misunderstanding you. You disappeared from the noise. From the drama. From the endless need to be seen. And in that silence, something powerful began to happen. Because silence is dangerous. Not weakness. Dangerous. When a person stops complaining and starts building. That's dangerous. When a person stops arguing and starts working. That's dangerous. When someone turns pain into discipline. Everything changes. See, most people want visible success. They want applause before effort. Recognition before sacrifice. Rewards before struggle. But transformation doesn't happen in front of an audience. It happens in isolation. In mornings nobody sees. In nights nobody celebrates. In moments where quitting feels easier than continuing. That is where people are made. Not in comfort. In pressure. You disappeared. And while they thought you quit, you were rebuilding. Brick by brick. Habit by habit. Failure by failure. Because real growth is ugly. Nobody talks about that. Nobody posts the confusion. The loneliness. The fear. The self-doubt. The months where nothing seems to work. The days you question whether you're wasting your life. People only see the result. They don't see the internal war. The battle against distraction. Against laziness. Against insecurity. Against the older version of yourself begging you to stay familiar. Do you know what the hardest part of becoming someone new is? It's not learning new skills. It's letting go of your old identity. Because your old self is comfortable. Predictable. Safe. Your old self knows exactly how to survive. But survival isn't your purpose. Growth is. And growth demands separation. Sometimes you have to separate from environments that shrink you. Separate from habits destroying you. Separate from people addicted to your smaller version. Yes. Some people prefer you weak. Not because they hate you. Because your growth forces them to confront their stagnation. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your ambition reminds them of their fear. And not everyone can handle that mirror. So they laugh. They mock. They minimize. Not because you're failing. Because you're changing. And change makes comfortable people uncomfortable. You disappeared. And the world interpreted your silence incorrectly. They thought silence meant surrender. But they forgot something important. Seeds grow underground. You don't see the process. You only see the result. For a long time, nothing appears above the surface. No applause. No proof. No validation. Just darkness. Pressure. Patience. Faith. And that's where most people quit. Because they need immediate evidence. Immediate reward. Immediate approval. But greatness requires something rare. The ability to continue without visible progress. Can you keep going when nobody believes? Can you keep working when nobody claps? Can you keep building when your results haven't arrived yet? That is where separation happens. Because average people need motivation. Exceptional people build discipline. Motivation changes with mood. Discipline shows up regardless. Rain or sunshine. Energy or exhaustion. Confidence or doubt. Discipline keeps moving. And during your disappearance, discipline became your identity. You stopped waiting to feel ready. You worked anyway. You stopped waiting for confidence. You acted anyway. You stopped chasing perfect timing. You started where you were. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Your future is built by ordinary days handled extraordinarily well. Not one magical moment. Not one lucky break. Repeated effort. Repeated sacrifice. Repeated consistency. That's what changes lives. And slowly, something began happening. You became stronger. Not louder. Stronger. Your mindset sharpened. Your standards rose. Your focus deepened. The things that once distracted you lost power over you. You stopped needing everyone's approval. Stopped needing revenge. Stopped needing recognition. Because when you become obsessed with mastery, attention becomes irrelevant. And that's when real power appears. The moment your work matters more than people's opinions. The moment your mission becomes bigger than your ego. The moment your discipline becomes stronger than your emotions. That is transformation. Months passed. Maybe years. You kept building in silence. And then, the results began whispering. Not screaming. Whispering. Small victories. Small improvements. Small breakthroughs. The kind nobody notices. But you noticed. Because you remembered where you started. You remembered the broken confidence. The fear. The confusion. The version of you that almost gave up. And now, you were becoming someone that version wouldn't even recognize. Not perfect. But powerful. Not finished. But evolving. And eventually, the day came. The day people started noticing. Funny how people react to visible success. The same people who questioned you suddenly became curious. The same people who laughed started watching. The same people who ignored your struggle wanted access to your outcome. Because success changes perception. But remember this. They didn't suddenly believe in you. They simply saw proof. And proof silences doubt. That's why you never build for applause. You build because your purpose demands it. You build because your future deserves it. You build because deep down, you know you were made for more than surviving disappointment. You disappeared. Not to escape life. To create one. And when you returned, you weren't seeking revenge. You were unrecognizable. Different mindset. Different habits. Different standards. Different energy. Because the greatest comeback isn't screaming, "Look at me now." The greatest comeback is becoming so transformed that the old version of you no longer exists. Let them remember the person they laughed at. That person is gone. The quiet nights changed you. The struggle changed you. The discipline changed you. The loneliness changed you. The work changed you. And understand this clearly. Disappearing is not about running away from the world. It's about disconnecting from distractions long enough to reconnect with your potential. Because modern life rewards noise. Constant talking. Constant showing. Constant proving. But deep work, deep healing, deep transformation, that often requires distance, silence, focus, isolation. Not forever. Just long enough to rebuild. Long enough to remember who you are without outside opinions controlling your identity. Long enough to strengthen your mind. Long enough to create momentum. You owe yourself that chance. A chance to become dangerous in your discipline. Relentless in your standards. Unshakable in your purpose. And maybe right now, you are in that season. The season where nobody understands you. The season where progress feels invisible. The season where loneliness feels heavy. Good. Not because pain is enjoyable. Because pressure produces clarity. Because difficult seasons reveal who is committed, and who is merely interested. Stay committed. Keep building. Keep learning. Keep showing up. Even when it's boring. Especially when it's boring. Because champions aren't created in exciting moments. They're created in repetition. Repetition nobody celebrates. Repetition nobody respects until results appear. Do not underestimate quiet consistency. Quiet consistency changes bodies. Changes minds. Changes bank accounts. Changes destinies. One disciplined day seems small. One focused week seems small. One committed month seems small. But stack those days. Stack those weeks. Stack those months. And suddenly, your life looks completely different. That is the power of disappearing with purpose. Not hiding. Preparing. Not quitting. Transforming. So if they laughed, let them. If they doubted, let them. If they misunderstood your silence, let them. You are not responsible for convincing everyone about your future. You are responsible for becoming capable of creating it. And one day, without announcement, without explanation, without permission, your life will speak. Your discipline will speak. Your results will speak. And people will ask, where did this version of you come from? They won't understand the mornings, the sacrifices, the failures, the loneliness, the battles inside your mind. They will only see the outcome. That's okay. Because you didn't disappear to be understood. You disappeared to become. They laughed first. Then you disappeared. Then you built. Then you transformed. Then you returned. And by the time they realized what happened, you were already gone. Heading toward a life they once told you was impossible.